Alright, y'all. Hey, everybody. This is Ansu Sesay from Basketball Psychology, and this is the Basketball Psychology Podcast, the show that brings basketball and other sports to you in a way that you can kind of understand better. Today, we're going to talk about the evolution of basketball and Bronny James. Got my fellows on here with me. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
It's Chris Giles here with Basketball Psychology, man. Finally excited that we got to do this podcast, fellas.
What's up, everybody? It's Micah Fuller from the 205, better known as Beltsman, Alabama. And here with Basketball Psychology. Excited to get this rolling. Got some great content coming to y'all, so be on the lookout for it.
All right, what we starting with, fellas? What we starting with?
Before we get started, man, I want Micah to give the viewers or the listeners a little deeper dive into the why behind basketball psychology.
Okay, most definitely. So, a little insight on basketball psychology. Basketball psychology, main purpose is to bring the mental and the physical together to create what I call a complete and perfect player. We are supposed to be the bridge in between the mental and the physical, and I believe once those two meet, then it creates what I call the perfect player. I know I kind of repeated myself, but yeah.
Nah, it's interesting that you say that, though, because we've always heard growing up basketball or sports in general is 90% mental or majority mental.
And then
that's something that coaches say all the time, but I don't know about y'all. As a kid, I can't fully tell you I understood what that meant. Like, I would understand that it's important, but just not, how much of importance your mental is into you being a complete player and just complete in life for real.
I can kind of agree with that because I feel like I didn't know as much growing up as well. I feel like now that I've been through it, everyone works on the same things. So if you're not there mentally, it's going to be a guy that's there mentally and y'all have the same skill level, but he's going to be better than you just because of his mental he's locked in.
Right. Your mental can take you further than your physical.
Most definitely. Now, I can speak on that personally too, because before I got to UT Tyler with you guys, I honestly was not skilled at all. I feel like what carried me so far was the ability to be able to think on the court and just outsmart guys. Once I was able to get that skill, then it took me to a whole nother level. So I always felt like I had the mental part of the game, but the skill wasn't there. And for a lot of other players, I feel like they have the skill first and don't have that mental aspect of the game. So, yeah.
In terms of basketball psychology, I was so excited to be a part of it.
Okay.
Just starting a journey with you guys because, as I was saying, most people know sports 90% mental, but I feel like once you're able to consistently conquer mental hurdles and just mental battles with yourself, that's when you're able to unlock your full potential and become just the best version of yourself, whether it's in your playing field or just in your life aspects. Because that's what it is. We all gonna have our own battles or just something that's thrown our way that we mentally have to deal with. And as athletes, the best ones are able to consistently conquer those hurdles.
That's a fact.
Yeah, you just ran chills through me with that one. I ain't even finna lie to you.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I'm saying. We've all been through that, so that's something I know we could. I just want to help other people just know how to first observe those mental hurdles and then just know the steps and how to beat them, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like we could provide some insight.
Being aware of it is definitely the first step to anything that you're trying to do in life. So being aware of that mental aspect, and that's big. That's big, definitely.
Facts. Once you're aware of it, then you have the power to control it and not let it have control over you.
No.
Okay.
So Bronny has been kind of taking over the internet during this little time where the NBA is taking a rest or whatnot, and he's been balling. The question I have is, are you sold on Bronny, or do you think it's just a hype thing?
Me personally, I don't think I think that people are just starting to wake up to how good he is and the gradual development that he's been making. Like as a freshman, sophomore, he had to take that back seat to some of those guys that were like 4 or 5 stars because he's at a good school. But now you seeing him on the circuit and he has his own team and he's showing you a lot of the things that he can do on both sides of the court.
You hit the nail on the head for real. I'm definitely sold on Bronny as well. Like, for one, I just think he's a really complete player. He's really smart, has a high IQ for the game, good feel, shoot the ball really well, plays defense. He's a good passer, so definitely sold on him. I think he's a very complete player.
Honestly, the question I have is, for somebody who would ask this question, who isn't sold on Bronny? Like, I believe if you understand basketball, if you've played basketball and you sit and watch Bronny, you have to, in a sense, be sold. Like, he's exactly what you all have expressed. Like, he's a complete player. Like, there's nothing missing in his game at all. His IQ level is way past many of his peers. Skill level past many of his peers. And the defense thing that a lot of people are not bringing up that you brought to my attention that's crazy. For him to be able to, like, just literally sit in front of his matchup every game, like, all young players don't have that, and that shows a different level of dog. I always believe that defense shows a different level of dog. A lot of players are excited when it comes to offense, but to be able to sit and tell another man you're not scoring on me, that's pride. Like, that's something personal that you bring with you. So,
A lot of the stuff you touched on, I think the common fan doesn't notice all that stuff though, and that's the problem. Like, people don't necessarily know what they're looking at because early in Bronny's career, his stats didn't just jump off the page. Like, he showed flashes for sure, but just people weren't sold, I guess, because of his stats, or he's not a high flyer. He's only like 6'2", 6'3". Like, that's not short, but he's not just a high flyer, on the rim all the time.
But Bronny has a lot of the resources that LeBron didn't have. So, like, it's a few things that he has, like, that are sharpened earlier along that LeBron didn't have.
Yeah. I'm going to have to take LeBron, too, just because, like, it's LeBron. He was the number one player since, like,
kindergarten,
whatever age. Like, he was him. Like, everybody knew, like, straight out of high school, bro. Like, come on.
My boy had his own show in kindergarten.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on. He's 6'8", 6'7", coming out. Like, he's just physically imposing. Like, just bigger, stronger, faster than everybody. So I'm going to have to go with him. But like Ansu said about some of the resources, I definitely agree with that as well. Like, LeBron's got a lot of money, is no secret. So anything Bronny needs to get better, like the best training, anything like that, But also, I think he's a product of this era too, and also just his size. Like he's not 6'7", 6'8", physically imposing like LeBron. So he had to be able to learn how to shoot, learn how to dribble a little bit more. So I'm not gonna say he's a better prospect than LeBron was, but just like Sue said, some of his game might be a little bit more sharper tuned than LeBron was at that same stage.
I'm gonna have to agree with both of y'all. You gotta choose Bron, and for one reason only. He was a grown man amongst boys. When he was 15, he was really about 28 in the mind, bro. Like
he was like my size.
I don't believe he was born. There's no way that a human was able to carry around LeBron James. Like there's no way, bro. No way. That is a stupid.
It's cool.
But yeah, definitely have to choose Bron. So another thing is, me and Chris kind of talked about this yesterday, or kind of brought it up. There are 30, I think 6 or 7 players ranked higher than Bronny James. What's the thoughts on that?
Honestly, in terms of impact in the game and just playing the right way, I don't think it's 36 or 37 players.
You mentioned, I feel like it's really big,
but
you said playing the right way.
What's that?
A lot of young kids do not know how to do it nowadays, bro. That's very big.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. I think more me basketball is being taught to the youth nowadays than just playing the right way for real, making the right reads, and just trusting that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
I feel like that I have to agree with Chris. There are not that many players in his class that are better than him. And I feel like when they get to college, it's really going to show, because when you get to college, you're in the system and you actually got to rely. You're not relying on yourself. You're relying on your teammates and your coach's trust to do certain things.
Definitely.
So, only time will tell, but you're gonna see real soon who's real and who's fake in that class.
Yeah, he's going to be great. I feel like he will be great in college just because he's showed that he can play in a system and like he can operate efficiently in a system.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be good for him around other.
He's gonna be a real point guard. Like he's a PG.
Yeah, he's gonna be playing with other players. So
another thing is, I just watched a show on Netflix. Well, it was actually a movie called Amateur. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
Definitely.
Basically, it reminded me of the story of LaMelo Ball, of how like he went and played overseas and different stuff like that. The story ended up ending with him becoming a professional in the 8th grade. So it kind of reminded me of the LaMelo Ball story. My question is, do you think that Bronny should consider going the professional route in terms of overseas and different stuff like that? Or do you think he should go to college? Because now that's a real choice.
most definitely is.
I think that it's a real choice, but he's not really hurting to make no money right now. Like, I feel like he's a guy that should go and get that college experience, like play with other good players, get taught more, and give him a real chance to be successful at the next level.
And I agree with that. I don't really see no reason why he wouldn't go to college. You know, you get that college experience, get to develop, get better. And then, you know, with the new NIL, he's still going to be getting paid. And, you know it's going to be endorsements and opportunities there for him. So I don't think there's no need to even rush the professional. But some may say he may need to rush it so he could play with LeBron. I've heard that before as well, because Bron only has so long.
Honestly, when I look at Bronny, I'm starting to believe that he's just here to fulfill all of the prophecies that LeBron didn't. So that college route, it's very interesting right now. I would love to see him go to a university. Not gonna say anyone. Well, I really can. Ohio State, because everybody always said that
LeBron would have went there. I want to see it, bro. That was the first thing that came to mind.
Why not? Why not? That'll be
go back home too.
I feel like that'll just be like the perfect story. Like, who wouldn't want to see that?
I think that's what everybody wants to see.
Universities probably won't want to see it, but if you're a fan of
the real basketball fan wants to see that.
Bron's senior year, he averaged 31 points, 9 rebounds, almost four steals. So that means he was out there just like literally just like taking the ball.
Everywhere.
He was treating them like kids, bro. Like, if you're getting 4 steals a game, bro, do you know how many steals that is? That means some probably had like.
he probably.
Yeah, facts.
He's out there just literally just running, just like, bro, give me the ball. Like, you don't deserve.
Thank you. Give me those.
But
thank you.
Do you think that Bronny will eventually get to that status where he's actually scoring more and around the range of averaging 30 points? Because now looking at it, like seeing some of his recent highlights, he's starting to get more aggressive in terms of scoring the ball.
I would agree. I think the biggest thing, he's starting to get more confident, and he's starting to consistently like show that he's capable of scoring and just being like a lead playmaker. Like he's able to control and affect the game more, it looks like now. So I think he'll be able to carry that over into his school season, you know, and just maybe not the likes of, 30 points per game like LeBron, but he could definitely get you almost 20, I feel like, at this point now.
I have to agree. You nailed that one. I have to agree with everything you said.
Yeah, bro. He's definitely playing a lot more confident. And
he's going into his senior year.
You know what? I'm going to jump off the ledge. Bronny's going to average 27.
I can see 22.
I just don't know because he goes to a national school, so I don't know who they're gonna have. They're normally pretty good, so they may have a lot.
So if anybody heard me just say he gonna average 26, works, put me all over the internet. If it doesn't, just forget about it. Like that, like I never said it.
But I have a little bit of a hot take too. I think in his senior year, he'll be bumped up to a 5-star. He's a 4-star right now, but I think by the end of his senior season,
I think he'll jump to at least. I think he's gonna jump like top 20, top 25.
I think he'll finish right around like that 15 area, something like that. To be honest,
yeah, he finna jump a lot of players this year because of the simple fact that there's a lot of high school kids that are plateauing.
Yeah.
a lot of them aren't getting better anymore.
And you can tell that Bronny has not even reached like he's not done developing in terms of like physically or his game. Like he has
He's not close
right now, bro. Like
he just figuring out how to really shoot pull-ups for real.
He's doing all this and he barely knows how to tie his shoes right now, bro.
That's a fact. He's got a long way to go, and don't let him get some more.
Yeah,
inches to his height.
Something like that. I think we might start considering a of him being better.
Even 2 inches. Yeah, okay, yeah, 4 inches.
That's around 6, 7. Then
discussion. Yeah, that might be.
Hey man, that could get scary.
It's basketball psychology. I'm here with my boy Sue. We just lost Mike, but we out.